Hey guys, and welcome back to the podcast. I am your host, Laura Battles, and we are reading through the Psalms. And so last week we read Psalms 1, and this week we are going to read Psalms 2 and spend the whole week thinking about it and praying about it and meditating on it and memorizing it and getting it implanted in our heads and our hearts and teaching our children the Psalms and all the things. But before we do that, I want to make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with a friend if you guys are liking the content on here. Also, go check out the Hungry for Wisdom podcast network, which I'm a part of. I think there's like 5 other podcasts on there, and they are awesome. So give them a shout out as well. So the reason I started reading through the Psalms is because I need it. I struggle in December. There's less sunlight out, and apparently this season there's just like a ton of rain. And I just needed some uplifting. And I think God can handle my crazy emotions right now. And there's a lot of them going on. And so I just decided to turn to the Psalms because King David turned to the Psalms. And he wrote most of the Psalms, not all of it. There's others who contributed to the book. And they just poured out their feelings. And so I'm just reading it and letting God's word just sort of like wash over me all week. And again, I went over a few ways that you can memorize these Bible verses or chapters and have them on your heart when you need them. You can print it off and just have it in your kitchen or wherever you spend most of your time. You can print it off and laminate it so it's in your shower. You can put it to a little jingle and memorize it with your kids. That's my kids' favorite way of memorizing Bible verses, is to put it to like a little twinkle twinkle or Mary Had a Little Lamb, and they memorize it that way. Or you can do 1,000 different ways to memorize the Bible verses. But whatever you do, don't just read the Psalms with me and then go home and don't read it the rest of the week. Read them. Like read them when you wake up in the morning. Read them when you go to bed at night. Read them to your children. Write them on your wall. The Bible commands us to do that. And so we really need to take time to plant God's word on our heart. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into Psalm 2. So let's do it. All right, Psalms 2. Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us burst these bonds apart and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in the heavens laughs, and the Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying, As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell of the decree. The Lord said to me, You are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Now, therefore, O kings, be wise. Be warned, O rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish in the way, for his wrath is quickly kindled. Blessed are all who take refuge in him. This is the word of the Lord. And so I would really encourage you guys to dig into Psalm 2 this week. Do a little digging on who wrote it, what they were meaning, what the context was about it. I think if you do a simple Google search or Chat GPT search and put in Psalms 2, it will tell you all about it. You can talk to anybody who is a pastor or who's gone through seminary school. They can tell you more about this, and you can really dig into what's going on in Psalms 2 and just let it sort of just, again, wash over you all week as you go about your schedule. With that being said, it is in the month of December, and most of us, our schedules are crazy with last minute things wrapping up and Christmas shopping and making food and all the things that go on in December. And so I would just encourage you to slow down a little bit and spend some time with your kids and with your family and do things that will create some lasting memories. My family jokingly refers to me as the Grinch because I don't like presents. I don't like having more like material things in our house. And I'm always trying to teach our kids that they don't need more actual items, like another toy that's going to break or, something like that. But I like to give, like I like to have experiences. So when I go out, like this time of year, we like to go out and go up in the mountains, or we go and look at the reindeers here in town. We go and go around and look at Christmas lights. This last weekend, we went into downtown and we walked the plaza and we went on a train ride and had some hot cocoa, and my kids just love those kind of things. And that's just what this time of year is about. It's just soaking in these events with our kids before they grow up and go, branch out on their own and have their own families, which start their own traditions. So this is that time of year where you can just, spend some time wrapped up with them. I have very much enjoyed not doing the presents and doing just activities with them to create those lasting memories as we go about our day. Another thing is, if you are still homeschooling, I just want to say you're awesome. I think I have given up on homeschooling for the month of December, and we are doing things like morning Bible time. We are digging into different hymnals that are around this time of year. We do a more robust Advent. We dig into people who were around Jesus's birth. So all those different things you can do with your family and do schooling that way. Nothing says you have to keep doing reading, writing, and arithmetic, which my kids actually know that word, arithmetic. I was very surprised the other day when they're like, Mom, we know what arithmetic means. And I was like, awesome. Anyways, side note. So yeah, just continue to read over these Psalms for the next 2 weeks, or next week. We have read 1 and 2. I will go into Psalm 3 next week. And I just invite you to come back. If you are struggling through December for whatever reason, and I know a lot of us struggle in December, start reading the Psalms. Start asking God to be present in your struggle, to meet you right where you're at. And as you read these Psalms, have Him show Himself through these. And He will. He'll meet you right where you're at in your struggle. Or maybe you're not struggling and you love the holiday season. Still read through the Psalms because they have all the feelings, all the emotions in them. And so no matter where you're at, God's word is there for you. All right, guys, I will see you next week. And I can't wait to read Psalm 3. See you then.